Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Strohmayr. I'm one of the founders and co-CEO of Tacterion. Tacterion is a high-tech sensor company based in Munich. And what drives us? We think that this is the most intimate, the most natural way to interact with our environment by our sense of touch, by our tactile sense. And we want to bring this to technology. We believe that the interaction between human and technology should be as natural as possible. With our technology, we want to make it more natural than ever before. But what does the interaction with technology look like today? I mean, everybody knows this. We are all staring at our smartphones all day. We are really consumed when it comes to the taking time for the technology interaction. We want to change this. We say it is time that those interfaces retreat in the background, that we can actually take care of what's happening, that we can actually focus on what really matters. I want to give you two examples, two use cases where this doesn't work today. So everybody knows these. I mean, buttons in cars, they have been around for decades, and they did not evolve that much if you think of how our technology evolved. I mean, there are a lot of innovative companies out there. This is a future human-machine interface of Audi's next model next year. So we bring what we have learned in consumer electronics now to cars. Tesla is actually taking a more radical step. They completely changed all the interfaces to a huge touchscreen. But this is not really intuitive. This is not really safe when you are driving. So what have we in mind when it comes to human-machine interaction in a car? This is what car driving might look like in the future. It's completely autonomous, and we can, take other things we have to do or we can do to make that our focus. But what we need for this, to enable this, is to have smart surfaces. Our car needs to be intelligent enough to tell whether we want to drive ourselves or not by pushing a button, but just by the mood that we have, by the way I sit, by the way I grab my steering wheel. Just imagine your car knew whether you want to drive yourself, very sporty, or not at all, by the way how you grab it. It's not possible today. No sensors there that can detect those interactions. So we think that we need smart surfaces for sensing mood and preferences to be able to actually concentrate on the driving, or whatever you might do else if the car drives itself. Different use case, you just heard about it a lot. This is what the interaction with robots looked like in the past. There was none. The robots were behind the cage, behind the fence. They just did their work. But what's happening now, we already heard that, collaborative robotics. People work directly in the workspace with their robot, those cobots. That's an example of Bosch today. They wrap it in a sensor skin, but it's very clumsy. It is not really intuitive to work with it, and we want to take this to a higher level. We just had the inventor and founder of Franka Amica sitting here, and I think they did a great job with their robot. You can see it outside, actually live. It's handing you a chocolate. Unfortunately, you cannot keep it, but it's really what the state of the art when it comes to human-machine interface in robotics. But we want to take this even to a next level. We think that the whole robot should be touch sensitive. By now, this is not possible with the technology we have. So we say we need smart surfaces for additional safety and intuitive interaction when it comes to robotics, so this guy can actually concentrate on his real work. What are the obstacles? Today, we don't have any sensors that are durable and sensitive at the same time. We can only cover simple geometries, not really complex geometries. We don't have stretchable sensors. And of course, all the solutions out there are too expensive. So what we do, our sensitive surface layers enable the next generation of truly interactive and responsive products. How do we do this? By a product called Sensor Skin. We have two versions of Sensor Skin, completely flexible, stretchable foil. And one is capacitive, so it's built for, I want to skip this, my time is running out. One is capacitive, so it gives you the human-machine interface just like a trackpad of your laptop on any surface. For example, in the car, on the robot. Or Sensor Skin R, it delivers you it senses your force. It can detect how you grab a device, how you actually press a handle, how you interact with any surface. So we think that using this technology together with our clients, we can build the interface the user always wanted, to be able to concentrate on what he really likes to do. Thank you very much.
Great job, great job.
Thank you.
Yes. So the next one is actually about, okay, what do you do then when you touch something? What's the feedback that you then get? So very nice into the chain next to the product that tacterion is delivering. It is called the company GelTouch, and their founder, Viktor Miruchna, is here to also inform us about his product for 5 minutes, and then we'll do a short interview. So Viktor, give it up.
Thank you. So hi everyone, my name is Viktor from GelTouch Technologies, and I want to talk more about smart surfaces from the haptic side. So when I remember, I loved my Nokia 3310. I could type without even looking at it, just because of the haptic buttons. But today, we see touchscreens everywhere. They're very useful and widespread, no doubt. But from a haptic perspective, they're almost dead. Like considered almost dead. And that causes various problems. For example, for senior citizens, it's causing frustration and aversion towards technology because it doesn't work like they wanted. Or for the industry, it costs real money because in the end, making mistakes, redoing them, is a waste of productivity. And on top of that, as we heard before, that causing distraction while driving by operating the touch panel is actually very dangerous. And the question we asked us 2.5 years ago is, why is there no sufficient solution yet? And missing haptic buttons and feedback is so obvious. I want to take you through the smartphone use case to demonstrate the technical challenge here. So first, you have to work on touchscreens, which is not trivial at all. Secondly, you have to be able to create local and individual feedback for several fingers. And on top of that, you have to be programmable, meaning if the context changes, the haptic elements need to change. When we take a look at the state of the art, we have very interesting technologies like Tactis technologies work with microfluidic technologies, but they are just limited to one use case. For this example, if the iOS changes its keyboard, you basically have to buy a new product. That is not very convenient. Tesla Touch, very promising, works with electrostatic vibration, but they just can do haptic feedback for one finger at a time. Our approach is a little different. We work with smart polymers. I would just want to give you a short glimpse of what we do. What you can see here is a responsive hydrogel. We can change this viscoelasticity. Viscoelasticity is just a fancy word for stiffness, and that's how we create our haptic elements. We utilize GelTouch on a 7-inch screen. We are able to do various use cases like buttons, sliders, just to demonstrate the programmability, the working on touchscreen, and the local and individual activation. But here at HAP, I want to talk more about what the future of haptics is from our perspective, so what the new paradigm shifts will be. So firsthand, as a game developer, for example, a game controller, you have to design your game around that controller because it's fixed. But in the future, it will be the other way around. Me, as a game developer, I will design the whole game, and the controller will adjust to what I need. When I do the next level, I get a new function, and that will appear in a new button. So that's quite cool. The second one is taking a look at this picture. It is a very intense and intimate experience. And it's because it's multisensory. So you feel the warm belly of the mother, you can feel it on your skin, the baby can feel it, you can feel the small kicking of the daughter inside. So what we believe is that organic interfaces will come as well. Not just the hard, very strong touch screens, but also interfaces to enable the intimacy touch is able to do. And as we were hearing before, the Tesla Touch is going for the touch screen. And taking a look at the used surfaces so far, it's not very much. So having touch elements and haptic elements on various complex surfaces will actually, in the end, be interesting to provide the user experience the user actually really want. So what we believe at GelTouch Technologies, the future will hold these three paradigm shifts. So function defines form, organic interfaces will come, and on the end, it will be able to have haptic elements on complex surfaces. And why all this? In the end, it's a lot of different applications you can do with haptic elements. Just talk about smartphones, talk about medical devices, and gaming, and so on and so forth. So we believe that haptic elements will create new all experiences, and we are on the rise to create the technology necessary for that. I want to thank you, and I'm very interested in the questions and so on. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Viktor. Okay, so once again, to make it very clear, where do you differ? Where do you have like different technologies? Because
I mean, I think it's pretty straightforward. We do all what it takes to make sense of what the user input is, to understand what the user wants to do with the device. And I think for Viktor, it's just the other way around.
So as soon as we know what they want to do and what the context is, we create the haptic feedback for the user to know that something is actually happening.
yes. So to understand even more, do you call this hardware, the stuff that you make and fabricate, or what, is it? I mean, trying to wrap my head around it.
Sure. I mean, for us, we are providing completely integrated solutions. It doesn't make sense just to build sensors, but for our customers, they need to know what the user wants. So we also provide the necessary software and the algorithms to make sense of the sensor data. So it's both.
It's both hardware and software. And in your case?
So actually, sometimes we call it ourselves chemtech startup because we have the polymer in it. So we actually work in the lab as well and create the whole stuff from the scratch. So
And you haven't even founded the company yet, right?
yes, so we are on the process of founding it, and we are able to push the development further currently. So that's quite cool, yeah.
Yeah, very cool that you're here. So chemtech, how many chemtechs are there? Do you know?
Actually, I know about 5, 6.
Okay.
A few in Berlin, actually. It's quite cool, and a lot of initiatives are coming out from universities because they know that chemistry and material science will push a lot of the technologies forward. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So why on the topic of these the interfaces? Because it's, I mean, we were talking before about robotics, but I mean, this is still very much software-like. So you're using actually an interface that has to do with hardware, with gels, with sensing. Why is it? Why did you come up? Or you didn't come up with the idea, but why are you working in this industry?
I have to be honest, no, I didn't. My brother, he invented the technology. I founded the company with him, but the credits goes to him. And actually, we're also based in robotics. We have a background from the German Aerospace Center's Institute for Robotics and Mechatronics. So originally, what we did, or what my brother did, he came up with a technology that gave robots the sense of touch, human sense of touch. And now we evolved it and developed it as an application also for other industries.
Yeah, but in order for people to use it more or to get more what it's really about.
I mean, for us, it is important to enable product designers and interface developers of different industries, automotive, gaming, robotics, to make interaction way cooler, more natural than we are able today. And the existing sensor technologies just limit them.
Yeah.
Wow. So they have to adapt their product design to the sensor technologies available. With us, we have a lot of those limitations. They're gone.
Yeah. So what are the reactions so far of the pilot projects that you're doing? Because you also got an investment from the Unger Group.
Exactly.
So what do they want from you?
Basically, Unger, they are a private family investor, so we're very happy about the investment, which gives us the opportunity to develop tacterion long-term and really sustainable, and also the necessary power we need to bring this technology to market. But for the reactions from the customers, it's really, they are amazed. We've just been to a tech show last week in Silicon Valley, and the people gave us the feedback they're really impressed with the novelty, and also with the existing customers. They want to go on with us with the pilot projects we have because there's no other solution out there like this.
And how did this make you feel?
Well, I'm proud, but it's also like an obligation to really make it work now and to have a product in the market that people can touch, that people will use by using our technology.
Okay, very modest, yes. Still starting. So how about your reactions on the product so far?
We get a lot of different reactions. Like, a lot of people are not so familiar with programmable haptics yet. They say, what is it used for? And as soon as you explain it more and open up more opportunities for various markets like virtual reality or robotics or medical devices and stuff, they understand that this is actually coming. And then in the end, we have to have multisensory interaction, meaning that we have various modalities as a human. And when I talk to you, it's very natural for me that I see you, that I can hear you, and so on. So why don't we have the haptics to underline this whole interaction?
So tell us a bit more about your ideas how to develop the business, because it's a relatively new industry. You found a partner, you have to found still. Is it hard in this industry to now take the necessary steps forward to develop the product?
Let me start. Yes, it is hard, because as I said, as a chem-tech startup, chemistry is not very easy to control. Sometimes you do it 3 times, sometimes you get 3 different things. So electronics, or the electronics we use, are more appreciative actually sometimes, so that we will have a long development cycle as well, and find people who will understand that this will come and support that development. It's not easy, yeah.
So your main challenge is now to find people actually get the product and see the business for you, or?
Our main goal is to find pilot project partners. They understand. I don't have to tell them what haptic feedback is valuable for. They understand it because they have the pain or the need, and we are able to provide our technology to test different hypotheses if this will work for their industry or for their use case. Yeah.
I mean, for us, we are a bit further down the road. We have secured the investment, which is really the basic, because if you're doing hardware, if you're doing high-tech hardware, it costs money. You need very well-trained and educated people. We cannot just work with interns or people from uni. So we are looking for highly gifted and talented staff, and we're recruiting right now. So this, of course, is a really unique opportunity, but it's not, we still have to put a lot of work into the technology development when it comes to the processes, because right now, no one can build our sensors. It's so new that we also have to develop the production processes. And of course, in the long run, you have to not only build some cool technology, but you have to make it a viable business, which means you have to deliver really great value for affordable costs. And we are really confident that we're able to do that, yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we have to conclude now, but I can imagine that you have lots of questions and you also want to talk to these guys personally. So, therefore, if they walk off to the stage, you can go to them and develop the conversation further. But for now, Viktor and Daniel, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.